Big Eagle. I'm from the Crow Creek Sioux Indian Reservation in South Dakota. I'm a descendant of, great descendant of Chief Big Eagle. At one time was here in Winona, camped in this area, spent some time here with the Chief Wabasha and the other tribes. And we're here to continue that tradition of camping here or staying here in Winona, in this area where our ancestors had stayed at one time in history. And it's really a great opportunity for us, and we've really enjoyed being here. We've enjoyed the hospitality that the people here at Winona have expressed to us and showed us. They've made us feel very much at home, and have treated us very well, like we're human beings, and we really appreciate that. It's been good. We look forward to coming back again in the future.
My name's Rod Steiner, and I'm enrolled at the Santee Sioux Nation of Nebraska, at Santee, Nebraska, and it was one of the places when we were exiled from Minnesota where they sent our people. And I've been involved with this now this is the third year that I've been involved with the homecoming, and I've seen bigger things coming out of it, and they expressed the desire to help us with economic development on our tribes and getting our infrastructure improved, and all the clothing and stuff they sent out, and clothing that's going out this week, and the people really need it, and they've really been well received out there, and I just I can't get over the people from Winona, just how friendly they are and how serious they are about helping us. And I used to go to a lot of powwows, and I've always heard white people tell me how the government had cheated us out of our land, and boy, you guys really got took. And I always used to think to myself, well, they're still doing it, and why don't you help us? And I said, we always have had white people that have tried to help us, and but we never had enough of them. And when they did try to help us, they were vilified by the rest of the white government and the white people. And the way Winona stepped forward and tried to help us, it's just unbelievable. And Lyle has always said that this could be a model for the way Indians and white people should get along. And I just hope it comes to pass and it gets to be a big thing, and this could be on the national news, and this is what should happen. We're real people, and we get along good with the white people. When we get together, we just have a good time, and that's the way it should be everywhere, even in the states where there's a lot of racism. That just it should end. Once you get to know us and we get to know you, we can get along. And I hope this just spreads all over the country.
And it's good that to be able to come home here to Winona. The people of Winona have made us feel like this is our home today, and as it was in the past. And so it's a good feeling finally to be here. This is at home. The people that finally had the opportunity after 144 years of exile to actually come back home to their country. And it's, like Rod said, it's a good feeling. You just can't express it in words, I guess, how good it makes an individual feel. And I'm sure a lot of the other Indian folks that are here feel the same way, and have had the same treatment, the good treatment that the people of Winona have expressed to them. So it's good. It's a good thing. It needs to continue. It's a long time in coming, and it needs to continue.
I better add too that I'm also a descendant of Chief Wabasha. Go back in history. There's our grandfathers were in jail together, so we've got that tie. And there's a interview of them going up to Fort Rice on a steamboat back in 1866. And it's in the history books. I know it's at the Minnesota State Historical Society, and if you want to see that, see how they were companions and friends, and how we ended up in Crow Creek, and that's the reason we're up there. And I never knew, for a long time, I never went up to Crow Creek, and I never knew that the Big Eagles were up there. And because I've always studied about our chiefs, and he led the battle at Birch Coulee, which was one of the successful battles of the uprising. And so it's been good to meet them, and they're just really good people.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's sort of a Kodak moment pose here.
There we go.
Wow. What about what did you remember? Were you told? Was anything handed down of what happened back in 1863? Davenport. Both have been at Davenport the last couple of years in the memorial there. What did you know about that part? Did you even know they were together, or did you?
Yeah, our family, at least wise, we were aware of the fact that Wabasha and Big Eagle had actually left Davenport together when they were released, and they left out of there, and I guess from what my knowledge is that they had went up north. They were to see their families, and those that were at Crow Creek and those that were at Santee, and they came back here to Minnesota pretty much on a regular basis through over the years, back and forth. Big Eagle didn't like it at Crow Creek, wasn't treated quite like he felt he should have been. Didn't like the way he was treated by the priests there, and so went back and forth from Minnesota to South Dakota, back and forth over the years, and in some instances was punished for that type of activities in certain ways. Rations were withheld from him and his families, his other tribal members, because of that, and so there's quite a history there that I think a lot other people should probably search out to increase their awareness of what actually went on, what the Indian people actually had to go through back in the middle 1800s to survive. I don't think any of us today could probably undergo what they did and survive or make it through it. From what I've been told by my family, while Big Eagle was in prison, his treatment was not very good, and nor was it very good for any of the captives or the other chiefs. Their food was mishandled in certain ways. I mean, they spit in their food. They kept them chained up for a time being. The guards were not very nice to them. Kicked them around, that kind of thing. Treated them pretty bad. So it's not quite as glorious as it may sound or may appear in some of the books. It was a pretty rough time for all Indians back then, and more so probably for the leaders. And so that's something that we need to change today, that we need to build a better relation between the Indians and the non-Indians, and this here at Winona is a big step in that direction.
When you, both you two come from two of the poorest reservations in the country, especially in the Dakota world, but probably overall. And both of you seem to have hung in there. We had lots of opportunities to do other things, but what would you like to see happen for your people, for your reservation?
For Santee, I'd like to get some good water. That's always sticks in my craw because of the story I told you.
Yeah, I know.
And we used to go down the river. We don't have good water over there in Nebraska, and we just put wells down, and the water's terrible. And so we used to go down the river. We had to water the horses every night, and we used to take them down the river in the summertime, and then in the wintertime we'd have to go down there and break the ice, and sometimes it was so thick you couldn't. and then we'd have to drink artesian water. But I remember drinking the water out of the river, and we'd had a team of horses, and we'd go down. We'd have a bucket brigade, fill those barrels. I had wooden barrels, and then the sand would settle, and then we'd drink that water. So when I got in high school, I went over to Yankton, and I had a couple buddies that always hunted and fished, and we always messed around by the river, swam in it, and just we spent all our summers down there around the river and hunting and fishing. So one of the first days I was down there, I saw this sewage creek that dumped into the Missouri, and it stunk to high heaven, and there was stuff floating in it that pretty gross. And I said, "What is that?" And they said, "Well, that's the sewer system." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, the sewer, that's where the sewer goes." I said, "You mean when you flush the toilet, it ends up here and goes into the river?" And they said, "Yeah." And then I thought about all the towns above Santee, and it really kind of grossed me out. I thought, you mean all Pierre and Chamberlain and Platte and all those towns are doing this, and I'm down here drinking this stuff. So I went home and I told my grandpa, I said, "Grandpa, you know what they do over there?" I said, "They dump frost right out of when you flush your toilet, it goes right in the river, and all the towns clear up the river, probably clear up into Montana." "Oh," he said, "that's okay." He said, "You know how the river is, it's so wide," and he said, "When it comes down, the sand filters it out and cleans it up." And so I thought, well, that sounds feasible, but that still is stuck in my craw. I'm 76 years old, and that still sticks in my craw. So I was back talking on the reservation last Christmas, and the first question I asked, they brought all the high school students in, and the first question I asked, I said, "How's the water here?" There was a kid about 15 sitting in front of me, and he said, "Terrible." I said, "Nothing's changed." But that and stuff like that, what we need, that kind of improvement plus jobs. And I thought when they tried to keep us from having the casino there, I thought, well, you sure weren't worried about me when I was drinking that water out of that river. Well, how come you're sticking your nose in down here now? But, I felt that way, and I still feel that way. And we need to get something done about that. And Eric here is what really impressed me with his attitude of going out and helping us with our infrastructure and the things that are needed right now. We need sewer down there now so we can expand the casino and put in a motel, and it might only create 6 or 7 jobs, but down there 6 or 7 jobs is a lot, and that's what I see for it. And get some jobs down there, and I didn't mind living there. I love Santee.